Good evening, people. Welcome to another video. Thought we'd do a quick chat on cuttings, and we're going to look at some cuttings as well. I'll explain why. So I picked out a few. They're different species. We've got a Blores, we have a Chinensis, and the other three are Itoigawas or Shimpakus, whichever word and name you fancy saying to impress somebody. Itoigawa is basically Shimpaku, same thing. Talk about the Blores, the little one, this little babby. I've featured this one in the stick video. I love that video. It's a stick. Lovely though, isn't it? Beautiful colour. It's pushed out that nice blue, typical Blores blue colour. Lovely. This one is not a year old. I did this one early part of the year, so he's not a year, but I know he's rooted because he wasn't in this pot. He was in just a normal little plastic sapling pot, little sapling pot, but I knew he'd rooted because it started to push out new growth. And it was a bit of an experiment. I wanted to see what was going on because I've had a few issues early part of the year, and I really wanted to know what was going on with the cuttings I'd done. And I took a risk. I pulled this one out to see if it had actually done anything after a few weeks, which it had. And so I stuck him in this little fancy pot, which is quite nice. So that was done early part of the year. This one, move that one out of the way. This little baby, this is a Shimpaku or Itoigawa, whatever you want to call them. This was done last year. It was done at the middle of the summer. And everybody's probably going, in the summer? You do cuttings in the summer? I'll explain why in a minute. I'll explain in a minute when I get to the other one. So yeah, that one is just over a year old. So he's quite a nice one. Quite a nice one, that one. I like that one. It's going to be a good one. This one's 2 years old. This is 2 years old, and again, I did this one in early part of the summer. So I didn't do it in the spring. Yeah, I did it early part of the summer, and I'll explain why in a minute. I put a bit of wire on it, put a few bends in it. I try to do it when you got the opportunity before it fattens up, because once they get to a stage when there's masses of growth on them, I like to leave the growth obviously to make things fatten up. But if it gets too bushy, you can't get the wire in there, and it's really good to wire them when they're young. So it's so much easier. You got to be careful because the roots are delicate, but yeah. So yeah, that is 2 years old. This little baby is 3 years old. So he's bushed out. He hasn't got any wire on it because I think it went beyond the point of wire in it. It got a little bit too bushy to get any wire in there. But there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of options in there. You see the original roots from where it was a cutting still coming out here. Yeah, so that's 3 years old. 4 years old, unfortunately, is not this one. It's not. I didn't do anything 4 years ago. I was moving house. I'd load on. Just didn't have the room. Didn't have the time, and just didn't get around to doing any cuttings. This one's 5 years old, so we've jumped a year, and this is off the Chinensis. which I've featured in a couple of videos, is a cutting off of that one. 5 years old, and it's looking like kind of like a bonsai. It's got a long way to go. I did a load, and I kept this one, not because it was the best one. In fact, I kept it because it was probably the worst one. When it was growing, it was like that. There's a few right angles going on, but I kind of let him go, and then it got to a stage where I'm thinking, well, if I put a shari in, it'll add character straight away, and put a little bit more effort into placing things, and yeah, he's turned out all right. 5 years, so you can get in 5 years, not bad. But I have to admit, the ones I did at the same time was so much better. So you can get a better result in 5 years. But I no longer have them. They've been liberated. So yeah, there you go. That's what you can get in basically 5 years, cutting wise. So talking of timings on doing cuttings, so for years I've always stuck to the calendar, and it's kind of worked, but it's only worked when the weather has behaved itself. And it doesn't always behave itself, and I've noticed it this year particularly. Noticed it in 2018, when we had what is known as the beast from the east. 2018 was blimmin' awful, because where we are in the southwest, we generally have mild autumns. I was outside earlier, about 6:30, 6:45 of an evening. It's dark and it's wet and miserable outside, but the temperature is about 11 degrees, and it's quite mild. I can walk around in shorts and t-shirt. It doesn't feel cold. Doesn't feel cold at all, and the ground temperature I know is fairly mild because of what comes out of the outside tap. So where I am, I can get away with late things in the year, but consequently in the spring, I've been caught out, and particularly this year and in 2018 when we had that really bad snowstorm that hit, we have late frosts. So it feels like it's warming up, the days are getting longer, and we've got more light, and it's feeling like, oh, spring's on its way, and then all of a sudden, bang, we're hit with like 3 or 4 weeks worth of minus. And it's caught me out. It caught me out this year. It really hit a lot of cuttings that I did, and reliable cuttings as well, which we're going to talk about now. So reliable cuttings for me are definitely the Chinenses. Definitely, they can have 100% success rate if you nurture them and do it right. Floors, again, 100% near on. When it comes to Shimpaku or Itoigawa, they're a little bit more sensitive to cold. To root a Shimpaku or an Itoigawa, the temperature needs to be a lot higher, needs to be warmer. So that's the reason why I do a lot of my cuttings in the summer. Now it's a bit of a catch-22, because what you're doing is you're pruning trees in the middle of the summer, if you want cuttings. So there's a balance of pruning, and there's a balance of air layering and cuttings. If you want a load of cuttings and you want some air layerings off a Shimpaku or an Itoigawa, you do it in the summer, and it kind of slows a bit of the growth down to the tree itself. You're better off doing it either in spring or this time in autumn. So it's a bit of a catch-22, but it's much more successful to do it when the weather is warmer. If you've got a greenhouse, where the temperatures can stay warm and really humid, yes, do it. Yeah, you can do it in spring, but yeah, they're a little bit more sensitive. It's probably the environment that they're used to in nature. But yeah, not as easy as blores and chinenses, that is for sure. Yeah, not as easy. But you can do it. Well, it proves you can do it. I've got loads outside. I think I've got a tray of them, of little ones, because again, when I'm styling or just pruning back a tree, I try and keep as much as I can, even if it's a Shempaku. I try to keep them, and I just, if it's the wrong time, I think, or the wrong weather, I still try it. And if you plant 20 in a little tray and you get 2 or 3, it's better than nothing. That's my view anyway. Better than nothing, better than nout. So yeah, there you go. That's what you can do in basically 5 years. It's not the best example, but it just shows you can do it. We're going to grab in a couple of containers with really small cuttings, and they were done early spring, when I thought the weather was, well, the weather was nice. It was beautiful when it, before, after Christmas, it was like everything's warming up. It was like, oh, here we go, spring's on its way, summer's around the corner. So I did a load of cuttings, and I mean a load, and then all of a sudden, bang, we just got hit with cold weather. So I've left them. I know there's a few in the containers that have died. They're obvious. They've gone brown, or they haven't pushed out any new growth. But it'd be interesting to dig them out and just see if we've got any survivors. I've done a count. I know roughly how many I've got, and I haven't included these big containers. So whatever becomes of these containers, if there's any results, is a bonus. It's a bonus. So that's my view. So we'll bring them in and we'll have a dig around and see what we've got. It's quite exciting. No, I'm a bit nervous as well, but I kind of know. You can tell really if they've survived or not. Okay, right. Quick chatting. Let's get on with it. Let's do it. Have a zoom in. Let's have a zoom in. Zoom in. I've got my spoon. Right, if we can have a look. Right, I don't know if you can see that very well. So I reckon there's 3 in here that have taken. So, or 4 maybe. Right. So the first one is obvious, this one. This one here, only because it's got new tips on the end. It's looking very green. It looks like it's pushed a little bit of growth out. This one down here, that one looks pretty good, but it could be part of this one. I don't know yet. It could be joined under the soil. This one here is looking fairly healthy, and there's one here. It's looking quite healthy. So let's get amongst it, shall we? Shall we have a dig up? See what's occurring. Right, now let's get rid of these dead ones. You can generally tell just by giving them a tug. See, that nothing. And these were quite shallow cuttings. Could have done with being a little bit deeper. We've got a root on that one actually, have we? I think we've got a root on that one. See him? Yeah. There is a root on it. Okay. Well, he's looking a bit sad. Very small. But we'll keep him. We'll put him to one side. Okay, so we've got one. Woohoo! It's exciting. It's exciting. That's a negative. Nothing on that one. I'll pull out the ones that I don't think. So, oh, he's got a root on. He has got a root on that one. He's a babby, he is. He's got one taproot coming out around the bottom. He's tiny compared to me. Well, there's two. Pretty sad. But it just shows that they do root, and I mean, they did get caught out for about 3 or 4 days in the cold. This one feels like he's rooted. I did think so, because he was looking quite healthy. You can generally tell because they start pushing out nice fresh tips. That one I reckon is a goner. I'll get rid of him. See that one? Yeah, he's a goner. Throwing it everywhere. Right, let's get me spoon under this, because I did give it a tug and it felt quite... You don't want to damage the roots. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, just give him a tug. You soon know." Yeah, but that's the end of a couple of roots. And going by the others, I only had like 1 or 2 on. And it's not to say that they will actually survive. And say there's funny old things. Yeah, he's definitely rooted, I think. Let's try and get right. Yeah, look at that. He's rooted. Just loosen it up. He's quite a long one. He's ran. He's a runner. We got him. We got him. We got him. Okay. He's got a good root. Quite long, actually. Probably, I don't know, 3.5 inches. It's good. He's tiny though. Tiny. It's the only thing. I mean, these were just dumped in. So the tiny little ones, I just throw into a multiple pot. This one feels like he's rooted. Just the one straight off down the bottom. That's amazing. You see that? It's flipping camera is playing up again. It was ever since I went outside. I think it got a bit wet. He's a beaut. Okay, we're doing well. We're doing well. Should we readjust this? We're doing well. It's always exciting. It's exciting with the maples as well when you do it. When you do winter cuttings or late autumn cutting. Nothing on that one. He's a goner. This one's definitely a goner. Yeah. He's as brown as a horse's saddle. Right, what we've got in here. Oh, well, let's have a dig around. And also, it's good because I can recycle all this soil. That's what I've been using. So if you see my other videos, when I'm using recycled soil, it's all the cuttings that are in the individual pots. I know have snuffed it. You know, they've gone brown or whatever. There's no point keeping them. There's no point keeping a dead stick in good soil. So that's the reason why I use a lot of recycled soil, because I've always got a load of it. Yeah, he's a goner. Nothing on that one. Nothing. This one here, I reckon there is. This little baby. What's going on with the zoom on this? Yeah, is he? Oh, I don't know. He's looking healthy though, isn't he? He is looking healthy, but there's nothing. He looks like he's pushed out new growth. But when you look, yeah, there's no root. No root whatsoever. Okay, right, well, he's a goner. He's a goner. I think we're probably there on this one. I think I planted about 18 in here. Yeah, okay. Right. Well, they're not the most successful of cuttings, that we've got. I'll lay them out and then I'll zoom it in. You can have a look. Right, bear with me. So there we go. So we've got 4. Have we? Yeah, 4. 4 out of 18. Yeah. See, I kind of expected it, and so it basically got caught out with the weather. It was one of them where I thought, oh, temperature's dropped, I'll leave it, and then 3 days into it, I was like, no, it's not getting any warmer. And then yeah. So it was probably my fault, but that's the thing, you've got to be so aware of what the weather's doing. I know they like cold because they need that dormancy before pushing out roots. A bit like seeds. Seeds are the same. It's like some kind of chemical reaction that they have. They've got to go into dormancy prior to pushing out. So, right, what we got in here? This one's looking a little bit more positive. It's looking greener, but then that's not to say that, you know. Right, container number 2. Come in, container number 2. Right. I'm going to get rid of the ones that I think haven't. But I'm going to be gentle because you never know. No. No. He's a goner, Waffle. He's a goner. He's a goner. Oh, hang on. No. No. This one, possibly. Yes. Get out of it. There is one right on the end. You can see that. Zoom in. Camera's not going to do it, is it? Here we go. See him? Look at taproot coming right at the end. So he has. Right. We've got 5, Waffle. We got 5. He's a goner. You can just tell. You can tell by the touch as well. Even when if they look green and they feel a bit like dried and a bit woody. Yeah, he's a goner. But as I say, these were tiny little ones. I actually nicked these. That's why it's got what it's got written on the side of the. There is a little one on the end there. Doesn't look very healthy. No, I'm not going to waste my time with that one. Yeah, there's a local pub, and they got this amazing juniper bush. So yeah, every time I was going in and out, I was taking a handful. Yeah, he's rooted. Oh, look at him. He's got a root on the end. You see that? Zoom in. There we go, he's got a root on the end. Cool. Sorry, the camera, I'm going to sort something out. Now I know oh yeah, the film crew ain't coming back. Yeah, they let me know. About time. It was only because I didn't pay their invoice. This one's rooted. This one's definitely rooted. I can feel it. Loosen him up. Oh yeah, quite a mature one on that one. Oh, he's a beaut. Oh, you get much better than that. He's a beauty. He's got to be almost 6 inches long, that one. God. Impressed with that, Waffle. So you see, you just can't tell. You just can't tell. I mean, that one didn't look very healthy at all. This one, on the other hand, looks really healthy. Has it got any roots on it? It's interesting though, because a lot of the ones on this side of the pot have had roots. Maybe that's something to tell me. Maybe it's the way it's been positioned. Quite possibly. Because I had these on the trying to think what shelf I had them on in the greenhouse. I think they were on the second shelf, because when I was watering the top shelf, these are bigger and they were catching the water that was running down through the metal shelving. Yeah, this one's definitely rooted. Definitely. Right, get underneath them and just give them a bit of a jiggery. Oh, it's like fishing, it is. Not that I do a lot of fishing. Oh, yeah, look at him. Oh, he's even longer. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Look how long he is. I'm surprised I didn't trip over him. That's amazing. Love that. Love that waffle. Right, well, all in all, I'm pleased. Because, as I say, when that cold weather hit, I didn't think any of them would survive. So, yeah, and I got some nice soil now to play around with. Yeah, it's decent soil, this. It's got a little bit too much pine bark in it. So that was because of, you know, the cuttings. But I can rinse that through. Yeah. Perfect. Look at him. I'm impressed with these two. Very impressed. You can see the size of my hand. Yeah. Normally, from a thumb to the tip of my little finger is 9 inches. I always know that because I used to work in a timber yard. So I used to measure the timber. Yeah, he's probably not far off. He's probably about 8 inches from top of tip to bottom of tip. Yeah, and I'm pleased with that. Yeah. As I say, I wasn't holding my breath really, because, yeah, I'm not sure if these will actually do anything. We will see. We will see. I'm going to have to put these into the greenhouse and just keep them above freezing, I think. I can't put them on top of the boiler because I've already got all my other ones on there. So that's a little trick. I always put a load on top of the oil boiler outside. It stays above freezing on top of it. Right, well anyway, that's good. I'm pleased with that. Right, well we'll repot these up, and what I might do is put them in bigger pots, just so it insulates them a bit better. More soil, yeah, it just creates a little bit more of a duvet for them. Right, got a couple of pots. What I might do is I might do the big ones, these two, in separate pots, but that one I'll probably do in a separate pot because he's quite established. But these 3, 4, 5 I'll put in this one. Now I just found this. It's got polystyrene in the bottom already, which will help insulation. Yeah, we'll give it a whirl. Right, we'll just move them out of the way before I squish them. Don't want to do that. Don't do all that effort. Don't want to squish them. Yeah, I'll put all of them, all the little ones, in this big one. So bigger pot, the better, really. There's a lot of gravel in the bottom of this. Should have mixed up a bit. Anyway, it'll do. It'll do. Jiggery pokery stick. Where is it? I washed it. It's here somewhere. I washed it. I did wash it. There it is. There it is. Right. Yeah, we'll just be really, really gentle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bury most of it even a bit of the green, because that might push out a few more roots. Yeah. Keep them away from the edge of the pot, because obviously that will be the coldest point. So you might just get 3 in here. Choose that one, I think. Do some drier soil, but I'll rinse them through in a minute with the old hose pipe. So the ground temperature is still warm. The water that's coming out the hose pipe outside, because it comes out of a lead pipe. It's the old water supply. They obviously changed it, got away with a lead one, but they kept the T connected under the ground for an outside tap. And yeah, you can always tell what the temperature's doing. You want a fair bit of foliage off the surface, just in case it does freeze up. Fiddly. Yeah. Right, I'll flush them through in a minute. 2. We've got 2. I'll get a smaller pot for them. I'll get a smaller pot. I'll go outside and find one. Right, I think basically we're going to put this long one in this one. You can see, look, here we go. So this was from early part. I had 7 chinenses in there and they all died. So I did lose a few. But I've got about 130. I thought I had 120 because I didn't count these. I wasn't overly sure that any of these had taken. So yeah, how many did we gain? We gained 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, pretty good. So yeah, I thought I had 120. We got 8 more. So yeah, 128. And there's another tub like this outside as well, which has got some Shimpaku in, which I'm not 100%. Shimpaku are funny. Blores and chinenses, I always find have a higher success rate. When it comes to Shimpaku, if I do cut-ins, I generally do them in the summer when the weather's warmer. They like a warmer temperature. Even air layering, if you do air layering off a Shimpaku, do it in the summer. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they definitely like the weather warmer. Right, I'm going to have to be really careful with this root. I don't want it hitting the bottom of the pot because obviously that's the coldest point. I'm just going to curl it like that. Be really gentle with it. Try and keep it all the way from the edge of the pot. So fragile. Yeah, it took me a few years to get Shimpaku cut-ins. I didn't have a very good success rate. Like 20%, if that. And because at the time I only had like probably 2 or 3 Shimpakus, so I wasn't getting many cut-ins. A lot of it was just fine pinching and fine pruning, so there wasn't anything really substantial. It wasn't until the trees got a little bit bigger that and that big one that I got 2 years ago, I had a lot off of that. And that's when I really started to learn about Shimpaku. I think Neil from the Bonsai nursery, Devon Bonsai, we were having a chat, and he mentioned it, that Shimpaku don't like, they like it warmer. There's got to be a certain temperature for them to air layer and take. And yeah, he was definitely right. Definitely right. But that's what makes him a professional. He knows his stuff. But yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? You know, you just think juniper, yeah, juniper's a juniper. No. They all live in different, well, they all come from different climates, don't they? Whether they're mountainous or from the valleys, from the coast. It's what the species is evolved to overcome. Definitely. But I have found that with maples. I'm a bit harsh with maples. A lot of people like mother them and like keep them out of the wind and all that. I tend just to not obviously leave them on a cliff edge or stick them on the roof of your house, but yeah, because it strengthens up the tree, a bit of movement with the wind. And also, if you've got any weak branches, they're going to die, and you don't need them. If they're weak, you don't need them. The tree don't need them. It happens in nature. So I tend not to be too soft on maples. These are beaut. I'm really chuffed with these. As I say, I was not expecting much. So yeah, 8 of them. Was it 8? Lost count already. 8. I'll mark these up. I'll write on them. I've got me Sharpie somewhere. I'll write on these in a minute, so I know which ones I did on this video, and we'll come back. We'll come back and see what happened. There's me thinking I had some soil to use and clean. I'm going to use it all, won't I? Oh well. All for a good cause. Right, I'm happy with that. Put a bit on it, stop it flapping around, because the top part of that root is actually quite weak. You don't want it flapping about. Nothing worse than a flapper. I forgot to push record, didn't I? I got carried away. I was right. But I'll write on these in a minute. You can see me write on them, and I'll date them. What is the date today? Don't know. Don't know what the date is. It's got to be like the 8th, 9th. I'll find out in a minute. Look at my calendar or on my phone. Put a bit more in because I'm going to. Jiggery pokery. Right, drop them in. Drop them like he's up. Funny roots. Funny roots. Get him like that. Hold him like that. So if I knew 100% that they'd rooted, I would have left them, but the percentage was too low in those big containers. no point keeping, it's space as well, keeping all these things lying around. You know, when you've only got, well, you had 8, say there was 4 in each that had survived, it takes up a lot of room. Good. Happy with that. Yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. So I wasn't really, wasn't expecting much. But yeah, there you go. It's good. So yeah, I'll leave these for next year. I don't think they'll be as big as this one. No, sorry, this one, innit? This one's 2 years old. Now, they might be actually. No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Let's say these were very small cuttings. That was that's doubled in length, so it was a bigger cutting. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, I think I'm really chuffed with that. Really chuffed. Not brilliant. Don't get me wrong, because you know, in the past years, I've had almost 100% with cuttings, but it's just the weather. Yeah. Blame it on the weather. But anyway, it just shows you can do it. What else was I going to do? I think that, well, I've got a load more out there to go through, but you don't want to see me do another load. Or I could do. Right. Yeah, I've got loads in little ones like this. These are little blores, I think. It's just rubbed off, but that is one of my weird bees. It's blores. So we're going to write on these. So it's the 7th. I just looked it on the phone. 7th of November, isn't it? 7th of November 24. And I'll put YouTube, and I'll do all the same. That says Team Valley Nurseries. That's where I got the pots from. So right, I'll write on all of them. I'll just put the YouTube like that, and then you can see. But yeah, we'll come back to these. I love it. I love stuff like this. Yeah, right, I think we're there, aren't we? Right, okay. Right, thanks guys for watching. I hope it was it's not really helpful unless you live next door to me. If you live in Canada or in, I don't know, Mozambique or something like that, yeah, totally different. But yeah, this is what I do, and I've done all right over the years, definitely. One good tip I always find with weather, before I close this video down, it was a tip that my dad used to say to me: if you ever want to know what the weather's doing for the next month, talk to a farmer, because they generally, well, they don't know for certain, but they try to make sure they know as much as possible, because obviously they rely on the weather for much more serious things. And well, I don't know, bonsais are serious. But yeah, he always said, if you ever want to know the weather for the next month, have a word with a farmer. And I think he's true. So yeah, it is true. Yeah, I speak to a lot of farmers around here. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Thanks very much for watching, guys. And yeah, we'll come back to these. Right. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much. Hello, waffles. Generations. not just plants, with everything. Always a standoff. Right, I might have to sort this one out. Thanks guys.